The Silver Tree. Your theology teachers tell you more about Anisot. It is more than just a provincial capital. It is also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' first disciples spilled their blood, and from that blood grew the sacred silver tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you have never approached the trunk of the tree yourself. Today, you will be Today you will be taking your first trip to the Silver Tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness this landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everybody is excited. Soon, you and the other boys enter the slums surrounding the church district of Anisot. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all throughout the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to the paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everybody is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There is a crowd there. Pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments among some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree's branches. The tree impresses you with its might and the calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself. You touch the silver-white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of your classmates. You notice a small path which should take you right next to the trunk. A tall red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She is wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. You have never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Mathilde, a preacher from Asthenia. What she says next shakes you to the very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teachings of the twins, he says. Yet you will never follow the light of the truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will only find the lies about the laws, the erring words of Prophet Isaías, sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins own lives knows that they never so much as mention the laws. Ooh. The red-haired preacher's words frightened you. They clash with everything you have heard from Mother, everything you have been taught at school. The laws are a lie? You freeze in fear. Should you argue with Mathilde or ask her for more information? Or should you treat her as a mad woman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl right next to you. She is just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered by a handkerchief with only a single golden lock showing. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired creature. You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sudden touch. There is just a bit of color on her cheeks too. Then she starts speaking to you quickly. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me. Only there you will see the truth. You stand there surrounded by the crowd of paying pilgrims, and the sounds of shuffling feet torn between two people you have never seen before. And each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree's branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you itself. Can you hear its voice? Who the heck is Jan? Jean? In acquaintance, what the heck? Okay. Oh, I don't have inside, which was from the other from the other chapter. Okay. Okay. Leave them and approach the tree. I don't care so much for spirituality, so I could get the willpower. Yeah, no, I don't really care about this. The tree is beautiful. The silver-white foliage stretches and spreads towards the city. Towards the sky. Okay. Held aloft by a trunk so thick it would be a challenge to walk around it. The leaves rustle and whisper peacefully in the wind. The tree seems to speak to you. You walk away from the odd-looking preacher and the young acolyte, ignoring them as they call out to you. You walk around the temple in the crowd of people, getting closer to the tree with every step. Then you extend a shaking hand and touch the bark. It is unusually warm. You can feel a pulse beneath the roots. The tree is alive. The roots are so gigantic, they form a large grottos, spaces of air embraced by the roots and the ground. You squeeze into one of these grottos. It is unusually bright and quiet, shielded from the noise of any sound. Right now, there is only you and the tree. You sit down. There are leaves rustling all over you. The only noise you hear is the beating pulse of life that flows through the tree. And this pulse beats in time with your own heart. You feel clarity and calmness, free of doubt and frustration. The tree speaks to you. Or are they your own thoughts, so strange, unfamiliar, and eye-opening? These thoughts speak of soothing love, and of crystal clear love, and of love and law intertwining to bring the miracle of life to you. You stop slouching, and your frown becomes a light smile. Hours pass like fleeting seconds. You lose track of time until you overhear someone shouting your name. Alas, it is time to leave this grotto. The sun is setting over Anisot now. The day was quick to pass. Your teacher frowns, ready to scold you. You mumble an explanation and say you are ready to be punished for disobedience. Yet, instead, the teacher nods in understanding. You keep looking back at the tree on the way home. Whatever happened to you today, find it difficult to put it into words. Full of power. Awesome. The shadow of the past. Another school day has ended. You are making your way home, still mulling over the things you learned from your teachers. The founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty, the 3 states, each with its own rights. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least, it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother is waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression still shows great concern. Father left on a trip to several distant migrant towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? Join Mother in a prayer to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them and their greater design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her, just as she has taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. Marlon, my son, you are 13 now. You'll be grown soon. It is time you learned about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It is about your father and me. About our marriage. You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes. I'm sure you have wondered about this before. Your father is a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, Marlon, your father, when his first wife Amalia Elborn died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask them for help, protection, justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me, may his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored his lot to rule, but it took me by force. Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria is that nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with low-born progeny? He turned me out on the street with that little baby girl in my arms. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hand tenderly. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believed that at the very moment, the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me that there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me. But he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me to his own home. Tears are running down Mother's cheeks. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer, but caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, he is still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If you only knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brantes all over Anisot. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about that scandal, thank the twins. Mother falls silent. She looks at you intently. Do you understand what she is telling you? My son, I am not telling you that this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria? She can never be a Brante. Even if the elder Brantes agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of high society. And if that were to happen, Marlon, they would see even your birth as illegitimate. Mother sighs heavily. What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You're about to enter an adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family. But, may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? I have enough willpower. Yeah, I don't care about nobility right now, because I already have 2 points. But yeah, I like Gloria. She's awesome. She's nice. She's very good. A very good person. Filled with determination, you assure Mother that Gloria is and always will be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brante too. You want her to be a part of your family. Who cares about what the nobles say? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. Oh Marlon, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last. However, the joy on her face quickly gives way to concern. But I already owe good Sir Robert a debt I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much. A home, an education, his care and advice. The Brante bloodline would suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all just learn to accept her status as it is. Just then, you hear Gloria carefully knock at the door of Mother's chambers. Mother, Marlon, I cannot find you. You happily greet your sister. Yes, she is your sister. No old secrets can ever change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. You and your sister walk downstairs together. Mother is alone by her bedside now, thanking the twins with a quiet prayer for the Brante family they have given her. You hope they can hear her. You are 30 now. Another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is the only one of the 3 estates with the right to interpret the lots and guide the other 2 estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, puffing and puffing as he fervently writes down the teacher's every word. But you have heard all this from Mother many times before. You take this moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name of Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said, and Brian freezes and seems to shrink. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flustered, and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it sharply, about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic. Just like the one in the books about the Macro Rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There is a dull thud as the iron-bound books falls on the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rents the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks on his fingertips. My god, no. Where are we? Are we in America or something? It is the moment where the shy little bullied guy pulls something out of his backpack. Ah, shit, dude. That's scary. There are screams now. Students run to the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his fingers and the books of statues on the desk turn into pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arms, and the curtains catch fire. The screams grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames, and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps towards the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. He's going to burn the whole school! Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor. Even through his clothes, his body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Thomas by the shoulders with his burning hands. Thomas halts but stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They put out the fire and take away the teacher, his body covered in horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. Soon, 3 men in black cloaks enter the doors of the school, each bringing an edict sealed with silver. The Inquisition. Is this Dragon Age now? Dragon Age Inquisition? You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains. The ungodly power that twists the minds of men into savage instruments of murder. The only sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us all from its evil grasp. The next day, you are forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Brother Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the Emperor's reign continues into its 2nd century. Celebrations in honor of the Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks because of that. On one of these evenings, Father tells everyone that Grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. You could benefit from your elder brother's company. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to act. Soon, Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently when it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria. He is still Grandfather's double. But he is more grown up now and far less haughty to you. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stefan are sitting in the library. He is telling you all about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It is full of so many wonders. The Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You have read so much about these places. Yet, he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, in the sitting room, or in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off to the ruins of Char Milanida's palace. She could be lost in there. You and Stefan exchange looks. Charming Leonidas, the rebellious duke, the ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there and back again to prove you are not afraid of the long-dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in his sheath. Get ready, Marlon. We're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you have gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. You are confused by Stefan's actions. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he still so determined to rescue her? Stefan notices your expression. Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honors compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she's one of my own. You're a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. The ruins of Charmilenida's palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the lands steer clear of this palace. You make your own way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts. Look at the lass, sitting there rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble, but don't you worry, you low-born tart. We're gonna teach you your place. One of the louds spits at Gloria as she lies in there. Get away from here this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword. The street thug recoils in fear. They soon notice that he is the only one armed man against many. They start reaching out for sticks and stones. Stand by my side, don't let them flank me. Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He is outnumbered for a moment. You hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Stefan cautiously. Okay. Stefan's Brante. Okay, +2. Stefan +2. Nobility +1. It's only willpower -5, so yeah, let's go with this. Stefan's firm voice fills you with confidence. You follow your noble brother's orders. It takes a moment to grab a stick and then you are at Stefan's back, angrily swinging at the louds as they try to bring him down. One of the louds lunges at your brother with a stone, but you hit him with a stick, and he falls down right at Stefan's feet. His sword flashes. The blade sinks deep into the young man's stomach. He wheezes. Blood starts pouring onto the ground. The thugs freeze. Stefan pulls out the sword. He's facing an inscrutable mask and returns to his fighting stance. You're stunned to see Stefan take another man's life so easily and effortlessly, like picking his own teeth. The thugs look like they are about to flee. There is rage and confusion on their faces. They never expected the young nobleman to use that sword. Yep, Stefan just scoffs at them. Lowborn scum, that's all you are. This is the only language you understand. Good job, brother. Gloria, get up. We're going home. Turns to glance at your sister, giving the enraged thugs just enough time to rush you. You get separated from Stefan. Your back is against the wall now. They hit you hard in the stomach, then the face, then the side of your head. Then your mind slips away. When the darkness disperses, find yourself lying in your bed. Stefan is in the armchair next to you, reading a book. He's alive, with left arm in a sling and a black eye, but still alive. Your head is spinning and you feel nauseous. You try your best to sit up. Stefan looks up from the book. Don't try to get up. You lost a lot of blood. I suppose that was a few thugs too many for a single warrior, even with good backup. I'm impressed. We fought like an army. The noble orders, the commoner obeys, all according to our laws. We defended the family's honor together. You know, brother, the nobleman's lot is also a great burden that few are able to bear. It takes courage, not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes part of his family's legacy, flowing in the blood tide forever. I think about it often. A noble mustn't act weak. A noble mustn't suffer like other people of the low-born lot. A noble must rule over them wisely. They must ensure that they have work to do. It is not merely your own lot you have to look after. You have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by their lot as well. And there are so many more matters to take care of. Honor, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but it's what it takes to be a nobleman. You understand what I'm talking about? There's approval in your brother's eyes, for the first time in a long while. It was a pleasure to fight you side by side, brother. Sometimes I don't think that I want to continue the nobility path, but I don't know. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of low-born thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brushed young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Me? Aw. Prefect Elborn is a friend of your family. He promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anisot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? How can worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Yet the twin gods also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of the heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it. And so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen, and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too, as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me. But Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in this way? Nobody ever mentions me. Nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. When I thought Stefan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no, everything is back to the usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back her tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he took me in to the house after all? Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There is a knock at the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There is an exhausted look about him. Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I am about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went in there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The low-born man insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer, and your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are all counting on you. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thoughts, her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks he's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. Doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she is a part of the family? If you do what your father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face through death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated, and you cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is more important to you? What is right, or what is just? How much? Oh shoot. Reputation is already low. Willpower -5, okay. Relationships with grandfather will fall down. Let's go with this one. You look father straight in the eye and tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to Sir Elborn? And what of Gloria? Is she not also Brante too? Does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather is right and she's just a freeloader who deserves nothing but a shame. If so, then how come father agreed to take her into his home and under his protection? Saying this to father is tough. Deep inside, you pray he hears no weakness in your voice and sees no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems he's listening to you intently. The wrinkles on his forehead grow deeper as his fingers stammer out a staccato against the armset. Give me a second because a horsey just appeared in the chat. Okay. This is going to be tough, son. You are right. You are right. I took Gloria into my home, and so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stand by it. I will speak with Stefan in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears of my change of heart. The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. You are the first to testify in the court. You tell the court the truth about that night, how the thoughts humiliated Gloria, how Stefan and you came to help her, and how Stefan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. Commoners on trial cry out, "It's the truth. Gloria was reciting poetry," and they simply told her that she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stefan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. Shoot. You spread your feet to stand firm and inhale before you speak next. You ask the hall, "Is this not a nobleman's duty to honor his family name?" Gloria does not have the Brante name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stefan's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rush across the courtroom. You have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Oh. Stefan is to testify next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while. His arm in the sling and his main argument. Stefan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end, the commoners were the first to assault him. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and rises to deliver his sentence. The court of Anisot finds you guilty of assaulting Stefan L. Brante, a nobleman who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All four defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging. There is no wind, but you feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by his sentence, and by that very sentence, the lives of the four young men are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallows await. Stefan stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood creaks. The trapdoors open under the young men's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at home. He screams at you and father, at Stefan and Gloria. This trial is a disgrace. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father says they had to defend their family. It would have been truly a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. Stefan excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet, but glowing. You stay quiet too. It is all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. These four commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman. And this chapter is taking forever. Forbidding love. Ooh, you got nobility 4. Another day of school is behind you. You are now wandering your district, taking your time before going home. It is getting dark. Soon, you are walking past the splendid mansion of Count El Velasco, one of Magra's richest landlords. You hear a familiar voice from the other side of the iron fence. It is Stefan's voice. It is followed by the sound of a young lady laughing. I want to see where in chapter am I? I'm of the Empire, the province, House of Brante. Doesn't seem like I can see that. You peek through the fence and into the mansion's green garden. And indeed, there you see your elder brother, dressed like he is going to meet the Emperor himself. He is currently busy helping a pretty young lady out the window. She locks him in an emotional embrace. You recognize her, Maria El Velasco, Count El Velasco's daughter. And as the whole city knows, she is already betrothed to another young nobleman from a far more illustrious family. Oh, Maria, I thought I would help you come down to earth from your heavenly abode, but your very touch brings me to the heaven. He picks the Count's daughter up and holds her in the air. She laughs, almost imperceptibly, and kisses him on the cheek. But then Stefan takes her hand by the chin and turns her face to him. Their lips join in a kiss. A flurry of emotion washes over you as you watch it happen. Stefan is putting the reputation of his entire family at risk, acting so frivolously with the Count's daughter. May turn the Count's influence against all the Brantes, and yet Stefan always speaks so highly of noble bearing and composure and family honor. Stefan's face is glowing with joy. Your older brother, he is happy, truly happy. You have never seen Stefan like this, as his arms hold the Count's daughter in a tender embrace, so gently, as though he fears to hurt her. And Maria reciprocates his feelings. Must you really rob them of their secret joy? If you ever speak to him about this, no one else must hear it. You wait by the gate patiently until Stefan decides to return from his escapades. He is startled when he finally notices you standing by the gate. Ooh, ingenuity. I want that. Yeah, let's get this. Well, it could help us in the future. What are you doing here at this late hour, Marlon? Is there something you wish to tell me? Is there something I wish to tell you, I wonder? You confess to Stefan that you saw him today in the El Velasco garden with the Count's daughter. The affair puts both families' honor at risk. Yet you say you are happy for him. You can see how much he cares for her. No matter what, it is worth the risk. Stefan can trust you with this secret, you assure him. The two of you will keep it together. Stefan reacts to you with anger at first. Your supportive words calm him down. You've got all the makings of a professional spy, but you're right. The risk is too great. Your aid will not go amiss. You're no nobleman yet, but I hope your word is worth my trust. From that day on, you help Stefan and Maria avoid attention on many occasions. You even have to distract El Velasco's manservants and lead them away on a wild goose chase through the district. In the end, you're never caught, and you earn your brother yet another night with his beloved. They are both aware that the days of their hidden love are numbered. But how will your escapades affect the family's reputation? You and your brother agree. Whatever happens, happens. Young love is worth this risk. And I still need to wait 2 more years for the chapter to end. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a long chapter. I'm already 2 hours in. I'm gonna have to continue the story later on until we end the chapter. But yeah, this will be it for Sir Brante. Well, the life of suffering of Sir Brante, the second chapter. But we will be back to it next week. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a great night. being awesome, keep being the best, the best ever. Try to become better and better every day, one step at a time. Stay awesome, everyone. Bye.